folks, and welcome to my channel. Let me give you a date for a channeling because I think I should date channelings. Today, at the time of filming, is Saturday, the 8th of February, and it is 1313. Portal. Interesting. 1313, the other way around, is the 31st. We have landed. Welcome back, people. Right, so 31st was the date that his son died. Dodi, Mohamed Al Fayed's son Dodi died alongside Diana, Princess of Wales. 31st of August, 1997. Wow, sorry, it takes time to process when these little things happen. You know, when you do this job, these things happen a lot, but when they do, you get a little bit anyway. So, for those of you that don't know, if you don't know who Mohamed Al Fayed is, Mohamed Al Fayed was the father of Dodi Fayed. Dodi Fayed died, as I said, alongside Diana, Princess of Wales, 31st of August, 1997, in a car crash in Paris. Mohamed Al Fayed has always been a very controversial figure and continued to be a controversial figure right till the time of his death. And then, once the dust of his death had settled, numerous complaints, allegations came forward about his conduct, sexual misconduct, etc., etc., etc. Before we go any further, those of you that are coming into the channel for the first time, I do channelings now and again of really controversial figures that have transitioned and gone through their life clearance, okay? And they come back to give us guidance and insights about what they were trying to show us. Because famous people are not just famous people. They're mirrors, but they're also trying to show us something and bring something up in the collective. That's why when you get a big thing, a big event, a lot of people can be affected by it, and it's meant to be like that as part of our evolution. Excuse me, I had a Reiki session on myself yesterday and there was some crystal work done on my throat chakra. I wonder if I had any throat issues. Anyway, try not to be triggered by me doing that with my throat a lot today. So if you're coming to this channel and you're like, why the hell? Because sometimes we get outsiders that come in and have a go because how dare you channel somebody like Peter Sutcliffe, whatever, Mohamed Al Fayed, when I appreciate that. And I appreciate there is a lot of stuff around this gentleman, man, whatever you want to call him, at this time. But also as well, when we channel spirit on this channel, we are respectful, whoever they are. So let's get to it. I have been getting bugged. Oh, it's not bugged. By Mohamed Al Fayed for some time. And as some of you know, I took a big step back from a lot of this type of content for various reasons to have a big decompression. I felt as though I'd never come back to it, but I have, things have changed. And when he came to me, it started to happen during my sleep when I'd start to fall asleep. And I'd end up where I was at this dinner table with Dodi and Mohammed. Now, I have channeled Dodi before. His video's not on this channel. Let's not go there. I had a big cleanup. It's fine. We've moved on. We're rebuilding content. But those videos of Dodi were excellent. And I straight away thought not a chance. And because I've got a history in relation to similar allegations that have been made against Mohammed that I made against somebody else. And I was like, I don't want, it's too much of a trigger for me. And I don't want to go there. And I pulled myself back. And then a few days later, it happened again. And I pulled myself back. And I knew that I was meant to channel Mohammed. But I knew that for various reasons, I wasn't happy with doing that. Then today, my diary's all been changed about, and it's like, actually, there's a gap where I've got this space that I can channel him. And it was like, let's do it. So let's just go through his date of birth and stuff. I've not written any notes for this at all. I've just gone straight into it. Mohamed Al Fayed. So he was born on the 27th of January, 1929 in Alexandria, and he died on the 30th of August, 2023. Interesting that his son's crash was the 30th of August, but then obviously they died on the 31st. Excuse me. Let's get to it. One of the things he brought forward, do you remember when I bought these pyramid crystals? Just let me, oh, there's dust coming off that. How rude. Okay, when I got these pyramid crystals when I channeled Dode, well, he wanted me to bring in a crystal like this because he wants to talk about the power of the pyramid in your spiritual work and in your healing work. So that's my reflection of my ring light there. So we're going to be working with the pyramid today. And you'll be asking, how can a character, if you perceive Muhammad as dark, how can such a dark character be coming forward talking about spiritual work and working with pyramids? Because that was the role, the darkness was the role he was playing in his earthly incarnation. Anyway, let's get to it. So, Mohamed Al Fayed. He's coming in on like a, if you put like an ooh, interesting. This is the colour here. He chose this deck as well, the Activation Oracle, which is going to be interesting. He chose this, well, he chose this deck and he's coming in a colour like this. Okay, like a get blue and purple mixed in together. And that's what you have. Let's pop that there. That's interesting. He's working with the pyramids. And he's saying he's always worked with magic. It's just in his life as Muhammad, he went into, when I say dark magic, I don't mean he was doing spells, but how he alchemized his energy, how he alchemized his life. Um, he's saying he had a very powerful energy. He's saying Diana had a powerful energy as well. Dodi had the powerful energy as well. That's interesting. He says, as these three people came together because of the energy that they held, it was destined that something would come. That's interesting. It was destined that something would come from that. And he's saying it's not just about them, it's about not normal everyday people like me and you. When you come together with, it's not like-minded people, it's powerful energy, this energy source that you have. And it doesn't matter whether you've got good energy or bad energy. Um, it's this energy source. It was almost like an explosion. That was interesting. Sorry, Gary's doing some work through there on uploading videos and stuff. And I could hear, and it yeah, and it sounded like um energy. And we get that shh. Interesting. So, where do we start with Mohammed Al Fayed? Why have you chosen to come through at this time? He's saying to me because I'm willing to listen and you're willing to listen that are watching. He showed me a lifetime as an Egyptian. Oh, no, we had this with Trump the other day. I need to do a video. I'm going to come back with that Trump stuff and what emperor he was in a later video. But he's saying that he had a lifetime as in Mohammed Al Fayed, not Donald Trump, had a lifetime as a pharaoh god. What would you like to talk to us about in this session? Manipulation, our darkness. He's also saying there are many people that were pulled into the whole Diana thing and the whole Diana how it ended, um, and they didn't realize they don't understand why it meant something to them. I was one of those, and I'm sure many of you were. The profound impact that it had on them. He feels like he's going to go into that, or this session will help to explain that in some way, shape, or form. Saying the pressure I put on my children helped to break their spirit in one way or another. And even the children that he has that are still alive, there's elements of them that are broken. And he's saying that many parents do the self same thing. It may not be to the extent that he did, but we try to run our children's lives. We try to control. We try to manipulate. Wow. Because I couldn't control my own behavior and my own life and my own lust and my own needs, I needed to control theirs. He's showing me a scene between him and Diana, and they're on the boat, and the boat's gently bobbing along, and there's a calmness within Mohammed. He said there's a lot of information out there that he would have slept with her, and that he would have, not that he did, that he would have. Um, but there's this certain meeting where they're on the boat, and by talking to Diana, she was, without realizing what she was doing, she was helping to bring out like a light in him and a purity. He's saying there were magical times with Diana. He's also saying that they, as in him and whoever else was there, family, I don't know, friends, connections, drained her as well. There was some form of draining going on. He says it's not intentional, but this happens anyway when somebody comes in with a lot of light. And a lot of Diana's problems were that she held such light, and many people that were dark latched on and drained it, even sometimes without realizing what they were doing. She was like a spotlight in the world that went around, highlighting the darkness, highlighting the darkness within situations, people on a personal level and a collective level. He feels like a man that you don't bug. Not usually when we channel people, we're asking them questions, but it feels like he's a type of soul that just needs you to give him his space. He can't deal with people bugging him. I feel that, as when he was alive, if people were knocking on his office door, get away. It's almost like he can't deal with, he doesn't like people being intrusive. He hates it. Um, Sometimes you see it when spirit come forward and people get really intense with the spirit, especially somebody like Mohammed Al Fayed, where you know, you've got certain questions you want to ask him. And I'm mindful of not doing that. If it comes out organically, I'll obviously say with a few winks, but I'm not going to plague him. He doesn't like being plagued. He's saying he held a lot of insecurities because of his race and his background. And he felt as though he spent his whole life trying to prove himself. No matter how rich I got, no matter how powerful I got, no matter how much I earned, no matter how many powerful friends I had, it still wasn't enough. That there was something lacking within me that I couldn't fulfill, or I was fulfilling it in the wrong areas. Diana often talked about spirituality and the type of stuff we talk about on here, and he just couldn't grasp it in that physical form. But when he goes into transition, he's reminded of the power of the pyramid. Let me just put my phone over there. Need to check time on these because I can go too long. I'm gonna have to go too long these videos. Um, he's saying that was his last happiest summer, as in 1997, when everything felt as though it was slipping into place for him, that he was getting his own way. He's talking about people that hold the energy of SEXUAL deviance. I have to spell certain things out. He's saying it's nothing to do with sex. It's to do with control. Control over others. He's also saying he held many heavy entities that he'd gathered throughout his existence that fed off of him. So entities can feed off of money, power, sex, abuse, gluttony. He's taking me now to the house where that was what's his name? King Edward's and Wallis Simpson's house. He's taking us there. It's almost like he's taken us outside and he's opening the door for us and we're walking in. He could sense their spirits in there. He's now showing me Wallis Simpson watching him in there. Diana felt Wallis in there as well. That's one of the reasons why she wouldn't go, even if she had have lived. And say, happy ever after her and Dodie, it doesn't feel like it's at 13 again, my phone. See it? 13 and 30th. I know it's 13, it's 31st, numerology and all of that. Um, she as in Diana would not have stayed there because she could feel the ghost of Wallis. Wallis was a strong presence in that house. He was tipping paparazzi off. He was tipping paparazzi off. He as in Mohammed. It's almost like he was using Diana as ammunition against the system. Allegedly, for legal reasons, I'm also feeling as though maybe even on that night, that no matter what security they put in place, they as in the bodyguards, I'll tell you what, I was shown that he contacted the press. He was contacting the press a lot. He's saying that's where a lot of his anger came from against what happened. Because when you're angry, you know what you've done and you know that you may have been partly to cause for something, you have to throw that anger out. You feel as though you need to throw that anger out. Deflection. Let me just pull a card for this. When you listen to something like that, it's just like, God. Pull a card for that. In relation to informing the press. He's also saying that Diana wasn't as happy with Geordie. Um, and it feels as though he was possibly leaking evidence or stories that she was. Um, oops, two. The star, the light, and the five of wands. Oh, bloody hell. Transition. Swap the boat for a car. Five of wands. The surge for information, the search for that picture. Um, Okay, we're hitting another portal with that. 1333. The surge for information. What's going on with my deck now? Um, yeah, the swords in the road. Not saying there was physical swords in the road, but no matter where that it's going to trip up. Can I just play devil's advocate? Is that the word? I don't know. Imagine just we've all had our opinions on that night, and I'm not making allowances for if it was something else that was said, if it was a numerous things all playing together. But just imagine if take away all the innuendo that we are, because it is at the minute innuendo what we think could have happened that night. But what if it was just, I'm not saying it was, what if it was just one man's greed and all of that energy compaction of these three people, two, and three is five, who knows, coming together and it's, poof. He had certain press people in his pocket, whether these were paparazzis or, but these cards, even if you're not a card reader, right? They speak volumes. The light, the star in his car, the most famous. I've not called that up too much. Do you know what I mean? With it being boobies on it, the most famous person in the world, the most famous woman in the world, and I don't think she's ever been topped. Not in the modern age, anyway. Um, pull a card for this one from this deck. This is the activation, transition, movement, the snake. The water and the, what is it, River Seine? If I've said it wrong, welcome to Claire Thackeray, River Seine, River Seine, Shane, the river in Paris, next to the tunnel. Change, empowerment. Now, empowerment can be a light thing, but it can also be dark. To bring about a change, empowerment to overpower somebody, change. Let's read what it says. The frequency of change supports our ability to gracefully dance with the forever changing nature of reality. The forever changing nature of reality, both inward and outward, so that we can appreciate the sweet release of the old and the birth of the new. The ever changing reality, our reality, his reality changing. We. I'm going to pull a card from this deck as well, which is called the Unknown Archetypes. So, a card for what you've just told us about the press and about the final night. If you're new to my channel, you get this all the time. Oh, you can see my chip nail polish there. The underworld. It's a web. Look at that. You'll never get to the bottom of it. Let me show you the golden nugget, the father. I think allegedly, for the purposes of this reading, welcome to the 21st century. The father at the bottom of the deck. This is it. I mean, you cannot. And the underworld. So I'm wondering if here we've got two elements here. We've got the father, as in Mohamed Al Fayed, and his role in pushing them together, paying press, encouraging press, pushing the press. And then we've got the underworld, also as well, the underworld that he was part of, because there's more and more information coming out about that. So it is the underworld. Whether you think the underworld is something, you know what I mean? There's accumulation of underworld. There's an underworld within local neighborhoods. There's an underworld within everything. Somebody go put kettle on and make us all a drink while we have a breather. Bring some biscuits, make sure they're gluten free. Let me know in the comments if you missed this type of content. I have. Um, right. Let's have a cleanser. If you can see smoke going up, by the way, there, I've got some incense going. It's funny. I'm just using Agua de Florida if you're wondering. I'm not spraying myself with whiskey. Um, I've got some, and it's he asked to use. It's a cat. It's there. It's just behind that picture there. It's Karma incense. It's called Karma. And because I've got a few, you see, and I always like when I'm channeling spirit, I always let them choose the cards, them choose the crystals. I always let them choose where if they want incense, and I've got a few, you see. Um, and he chose the word karma, so karma, getting your karma in life. That every action has a reaction. Ears buzzing. Every action has a reaction. Okay, where are we going next, Mohammed? He's saying that we don't realize as humans how much devastation that we can cause in one lifetime. Um, and that one bit of devastation that we cause can go on and go on and go on and go on. He's showing me Prince William now. Feels like Prince William didn't like him. With some water. Prince William could see through it. No, when I drink this, if I got, it's because I'm not thinking about it, but I had a crispy chip the other day and I might have just damaged the gum a bit. So if I got, that's why I'm going to drink. I'm going to the dentist this week anyway. Yeah. Well, it was all right actually. God. Right at the crux of that reading, did you break off and drink? Prince William. Saying Prince William struggled to relax on the boat. Prince William struggled to. He could sense the bullshit of it all. He could sense the heaviness of it all. The bullshit was my word, by the way. Um, saying that Harry liked the jet skis and this and the sea and all of that because I was a lot younger as well. He's saying that William is more suited to rural life. He is more suited to holidays in England and all that, hunting, fishing, shooting type thing. Said I would never have been able to crack Prince William. Why would you want to crack somebody? Um, Tough egg to crack. He's now taken us into Harrods. He's not. He's taken us back to Diana. He's saying that Diana was very naive. He says a lot of people call her manipulative, but he said, as a manipulative person myself, him, not me, she wasn't. If there's a scale of manipulation, she's right at the normal end, he's saying. He said the true manipulators are like myself. The trouble with Diana, she was very easily led. They're not worldly wise. He said people from that area are not worldly wise at all and are very easy to manipulate. They can't even use a bus. He's saying they can't even go out and do normal things like we do, ringing up a doctor's surgery to book an appointment because everything's done for them. So they're easy to manipulate. And Diana liked people to give her gifts and give her attention. which he's saying comes from the parent wound, the mother wound that she had, and the father wound. He said, I liked people that were easy to manipulate. Just pull a card for his relationship with Diana. What's going on with the... Sorry, my deck again's gone a bit strange. No, it's not. It's me putting the cards down that's gone a bit strange. Dropping the deck. So show me your relationship with Diana. Pentacles, money, power, wanting her light, wanting her confidence, strategy, you know, what's it called? On your bedpost, notches on your bedpost. Not as in his bed. Oh, I don't know. Not as in his bedpost, but as in his son's. It's being able to move the coins. It's all coins and this. He pulled this card earlier before we came on camera. It reminded me of the tunnel. I know it's not a tunnel, but it's a portal. The Two of Wands, which is what we manifest, what we create, the world. Breaking into a new world. I won't give you TMI like I've just seen TMIs in too much information, but that always reminds me of the opening of a ladies' bits. And it was like almost like even that, having a pregnant, not that she was pregnant, to have a, not for him, I don't know, but for her to carry a fired child. The sun, the sunny holidays. The sun could also mean as well the SON. There's something about him and Prince William. Let me get a card on him and Prince William. Give me a offering of money. My deck, right? That's how it came out, like that. Offering of money, paying somebody off. Interesting. Show me your connection. Don't think there was. Show me your relationship with. What are you trying to tell me about your relationship with Prince William? The Chariot and the Five of Cups at the bottom. He was aware, he as in William was aware of his mum's vulnerability and wanted to try and keep her away from situations where she was going to get more hurt. Right, two. You and Diana, you and Diana, you and Diana. Oops, you and Diana, you and Diana. Oops. Round deck, they're awful to shuffle. It's a nice deck, this, but it's awful to shuffle. The father, again. The ocean. Wanting to play a father role, but not a nice fatherly role. Also, as well, he knew her father, didn't he? We've got the ocean. Still waters run deep. The riddle. Whoops, dropped that then. The riddle. We've got the riddle. Again, something else you'll never get to the bottom of it. Everyone thinks they have all the answers, and I know, I know, I know, I know, I know. Loads of articles about it out there. The shaman. Again, the shaman is deep. The medallion, the prize. He wanted to rule her. He wanted to rule her. It's again the shaman, if it doesn't use his magic correctly, it can go a bit crazy. It can go dark. Um, oh, pain in my side then. Again, I do that when I'm having Reiki, when I've had Reiki, it's energy moving. So I go like that. You're not punched me. I've been punched by a ghost before and I know what it feels like. I was at Ghost Hunt years ago. Before I did this work, I was very naive to it all back then. I got punched in the back. Um, so what else would you like to talk to us about? Where would you like to take us next? Show me all the women that have made allegations against him. So I think they're moving into that area now. It's almost like he's lined them up. That came out awful, but it's showing me like a long line. He said there's a long line of them. There's a long line because he's like walking us down this long line of women. Um, he said you wouldn't believe the parties that went on in London. Oh, I think you'd find we would. Um, we possibly can't even get our own minds around it, to be honest. And I don't want to, so we won't be going down that avenue. We just know that the world isn't as fluffy as we think. Um, so it's just the tip of the iceberg. He's saying that when you have money and power, you can do and you can get away. He said murder. That's his, well, he said murder. You can do and get away with murder. That is a saying, a phrase that people can use. I'm not sure whether he's talking about he has done that or been a part of that or knows something about that. Um, he's talking about his lineage now, going right back to the Egyptian times. I know there's been times for different realities. Let's just keep it simple. Um, and the fact that, especially in his bloodline, let's just keep it on his bloodline rather than talking about a race of people, that these people that grew up around the pyramids and when the pyramids were built with this energy. So let's hold the pyramid around the pyramids. Here you go, so you can see it. Have lost the connection to the beauty of that pyramid, to the source of that pyramid. Many people that have, that are like me, white British, that had past lives around these times, needing now to tap back into pyramid magic. It feels as though his bloodline is. He's saying technically it's a bloodline that needs to die off, and there are bloodlines that are dying off. All not just famous lines, but a lot of lines are needing to die off because the damage is so painful and so heavy that it needs to go. I've had to put that down because it's too heavy. He's saying that when he said they, he showed me the senior members of the royal family back then wanted to bring this out about Mohammed, but he got there first, as in relation to the deaths. I'm going to pull some cards on that now. I'm going to sort my deck out now. Show me your rule that night, 30th of August, 1997. Show me your rule, 30th of August, 1997. 30th of August, 1997. And the 31st as well. Show me your rule. What are you doing? So much you can say with that card as well. Emotional fulfillment, drinking. Um, we know that there was accusations against the drunk driver. Greed as well. This can be a card of greed. Defending yourself because all of these arrows, all of these wands are pointing at him. Battles, boundaries. Four of Wands. I mean, there's a lot you can say about this card as well. Um, let's just keep pulling. The Devil, the Family. That's the card of Happy Ever After as well. The Magician, the Queen of Swords, and the Confidence. I'm going to stick to my original thing of there was more than one thing going that night. You can say the devil doesn't have to be anything strange. It can just be the devilish energy of manipulation. It can be the fact that the situation was not really a love match. Um, there's a lot going on here. Magician can also be manipulation. It can also be if we want to take this dark, other dark things that can go on with magic. Um, Queen of Swords can be cutting ties to something, so wanting to rid yourself of something. I'm having to talk a bit cryptic because it's not right for me to go as a reader and start, right, what's this? What's this? What's this? With all of these readings that we do, we have to be mindful that we can't just shout our mouths off. Um, it's not a simple situation. It's not a one answer. There was a lot going on that night, and there's also the energy of, when you're called home, you're called home. Just, in fact, oh, you can actually do that. That actually, anyway, you can do that, but I don't recommend you do because you will vomit. Um, so coming out of that energy, because it's gone. We can't do anything about it. All we can do is learn about it. I think it's something we'll possibly never get to the bottom of, and we never really want to get to the bottom of it, do we? What was Dinah's death trying to show us as a collective? What was Dinah's death trying to show us as a collective? It's important as well as a reader that you don't take people down. Sometimes you're going to come across dark things. That event was dark, but how do we then you leave people where they can't process it? Oh, God, don't. Conception and and realization. Now I don't know. Let's read it. The frequency of conception invites us to bring our consciousness to our origin, the place where everything in creation begins. It helps us to remember the infinite potential and possibilities of this space and what we can manifest through our own focused awareness and intention. And realization. The frequency of realization supports the internal process of becoming aware of our heart centered truth, as well as the external process of becoming our highest expression in this world. Now, I'm going to share something. When I first saw those cards, I was like, she was pregnant. I know it for a fact. That was the shadow coming up. Doesn't matter whether she was or whether she wouldn't. We have to be careful when we're presented with these situations in the world that we don't view them through that darkness within us. And that can be triggering. I'll probably get bollocked for that. How are you hiding something from us? Well, it's true. You know, it could have just been as simple as a father wanting, like I said at the beginning, but the heaviness within us, the intrigue, call it the conspiracy theorist if you want. I'm guilty of it. I think everybody's on this planet right now because different people accusing different people of being a conspiracy theorist. Well, we live in a world now when someone doesn't believe what you say, you're a conspiracy theorist. Um, And we've all got it within us. We've all got the possibility to do it. It's about conception, realization. Some people see that as a pure accident of a drunk driver. Some people see it as a drunk drive with paparazzi. Some people choose to see it as something else. He's given another view of it, of his role in it, that he played a role in that night. Um, we'll never find out the truth. It could be we have found out the truth, and actually that's what it was. You know, the magician can also be about master manipulators out there that take something like that and manipulate it into clickbait. Um, how are we going to be our self-realization and about the ascension going forward? That rather than thinking about that night in a deep, because the thing is with that, even if even if somebody came in now, walked in there from, I don't know, MI5 or something like that. Don't know why I went like that. Doing a little dance. We'd still want more from him or her. They'd still, because when you start going down these avenues, no matter what information you get, you still want more, you still want more, and then you want it confirming, and you want it confirming. So this is about leaving that where it is. And now let's read this again. It was a realization card that got me. The frequency of realization supports the internal process of becoming aware of our heart-centered truth, as well as the external process of becoming our highest expression in this world. And what he's saying, it's about looking at that night and going, there were many factors at play that night. There was the choice of Diana to be there in the first place. There was the choice of Dodie to be. There were so many factors. It was an event of accumulation of things. But I'm going into my heart-centered truth, which is to step back from it and to focus on where we go forward as a collective. How can I learn from the life of Diana? How can I learn from the life of Dodi? How can I learn from the life of Mohammed, from the life of Charles, Queen, all of it? Um, how can I learn from that? How can I learn from what Mohammed did to his son to become a better parent? How can I learn from Diana to make better mistakes? Let's not do that. To make better choices in relation to love and relationships, of how I'm controlled as a woman. When I'm in a situation and I'm like, wait a minute, what the F is going? I don't think that Diana swore by. She probably did actually once or twice. What the hell is going on? Am I in charge of my destiny? Is somebody else manipulating? Is my father-in-law running my life? Is my mother-in-law running my life? Is my partner running my life? Have I totally lost control of everything? Should I really be here in this car at this night when I could be at home getting ready for my kids to come back from Scotland the next day? There's so much to unpack, and there's so much that we can learn from that. There's also, like he said, the energy as well. Right, where are we going to go now? Let's go into the women. That didn't sound right. We'll go to the women. Any messages about that? And then we will go and we will talk about, because I don't want this video to go too long, even though it's possibly heading for an hour right at this time. Let's go and sort this out. So the women, the women. So what would you like to say in relation to the allegations that are made against you? She's showing me Jimmy Savile. So it's very similar that they've actually said that, haven't they? This very similar to Jimmy Savile, that he tried to suppress it whilst he was alive. It's just silence. It's interesting. It's like a Four of Cups vibe where he's like that. It's almost like he doesn't want to talk about it. Pull a card. The judge, the hunter. Gives me vibes of the horses in London. Was it last year, year before, 3 years ago, 10 years ago, 100 years ago? I think it was last year, wasn't it? The horses, the hunter, and the spotlight. Wait a minute. So the spotlight is going on. I'm just looking at. I will hold it up in a minute. The spotlight is going on the horse, the hunter. The spotlight is on him. The mirror. Needing to look at himself in the mirror, the collective mirror, the judge. And when we hear stories like, I used to be shocking for this when, because I've got wounded in this area, where allegations are made about someone. This isn't saying that he's innocent because I don't think he is, and he's already said he's not innocent. Is not to be the judge, jury, and executioner. The desert, waited until somebody is gone to bring this stuff out, which they do, or in a vulnerable state. The flame. Isn't there an eternal flame on the top of that tunnel? The flame. It's all connected. It's all connected. Um, the orphan. I'm going to pull one more card. And the temple, coming back to the temple. Can I have a clarifier for the flame? The shadow. The box, the bottom, the shadow, his shadow, the collective shadow, the shadow of the system, the shadow of the system that allows this to go on and then waits until somebody dies and then brings it out when really justice can't happen. Um, God, from here as well. Perception. God, divine masculine. As we're stepping into new energy of divine masculine and divine feminine. Let me read this again for you. The frequency of perception supports our natural curiosity, moving us beyond our comfort zone to find the edges of what we perceive as real and to take good, hard, deep look at it. Our perception of our world, our perception of the collective stage. There are many people, he's saying, that believe he's been set up because he tried to whistleblow on the system. It's our perception. Divine masculine is that these characters come forward that were undivine masculine to be gateways to becoming the divine masculine. That when things in the world come up like this, rather than saying he's innocent, he's persecuted, we're sick of this cancel culture, or hang him, draw him, quarter him, taking great delight in it, to actually use these moments of, here is an example of our wounding. How can I rise with this? How can I become better in my divine feminine and my divine masculine? The frequency of divine masculine supports our strong, focused, and active side, allowing it to express itself while helping us to bring our dreams and ideas into form with kindness and wisdom. So being able to look back, I'll talk about that situation, Dinah's death, the whole summer, the allegations, because they are allegations, the things he's done, the things he's been accused of doing. Um, to look back at that with kindness and compassion, to not sit in this work that we're doing here in judgment of it, to not judge him, Henry Paul, Trevor Rees Jones, Dodie, Diana, to not judge the women that have come forward with these allegations and other people. When you can look at all of these stories in our world and in your own personal world from a place of love and teaching and forgiveness, the light that you're able to hold is profound, if that makes sense. And let's not waste time in deep diving into the deep dark stuff of the world when really we should be going higher. He's saying we should be going higher. He's saying, you said, tell me some more about the women. Well, yes, what do you want me to say? It happened. A bit like Hitler, where he's not going to apologize for it. Um, it's what happened in that incarnation. It's come to light. Now we, as him as well, have to find ways to become better versions of ourselves. Let's move to the pyramid. So how can we use the pyramid? I'll hold it up for a bit because it is heavy. How can we use the pyramid? He said you could use the pyramid. By the way, I got these from Amazon. I know you shouldn't, and it's naughty. So in some people's books, it's naughty getting from Amazon, but I don't care because I'm a rebel. Um, you can get these. These are from Amazon. Okay. Um, and I've got quite a few in here. So how can you work with the pyramid? You can have these within your home. Don't put them on the windowsill with the sun. Do not put them on the windowsill because you'll set fire to your house. You can have them in your workspace. Um, it said you can also have them in baby rooms as well when you've got newborn babies. You can visualize yourself in the pyramid if you're not feeling well. You can use the pyramid as protection. So, say you're going out, you can, like I say about putting the Merkaba around you, you can also visualize the pyramid around you. He's saying anything that you would like guidance with problem wise, visualize putting it into the pyramid. So you say, I don't know which house to use or whether to move house or whether to go for this job or whatever. Say to your guides, I'm going to put it in the pyramid. Can you help me get guidance on it? So when that problem, you visualize it going into the pyramid, or you could write it on a journal or some paper and put it on top and see what dreams and insights come in and aha moments. You can have the pyramid on your altar for either prayer or meditation. Paintings of pyramids. You can watch videos on pyramids. He's showing me that a lot of the energy of the pyramid is going to start to come back. How else can you use the pyramid? How else can you use the pyramid? Miracle. The frequency of miracle supports our belief in ourselves as part of Source and therefore our belief that anything is possible. You know these codes here, that codes, pictures that I'm showing you here, absorb them. You could even get this deck. Let me show you it. Did I show you the box? Activations by Lon. And you can get yourself a couple of decks. You can use one deck for like I'm doing for readings, and you can use one deck for healing. So if you've got a client coming in that needs to find her miracle or his miracle, you can place that under the Reiki bed, the treatment bed, or you can ask the client to hold it, or you can put it in a grid for the client, or If you're needing the miracle zone yourself, you can do that with it. Yeah. So you can get time by. I've not got two decks, but I keep meaning to. Um, Passion, for example, different areas of your life. Alchemy. People ask me, what do you mean by alchemy? The Merkaba. I'm glad he actually chose this deck for this reading. What did you learn most from being Mohamed Al Fayed? What did you learn from your life? I want to say as well before I go into that, we should never fear things. You know, like when he came forward to me and I went into fear. Now, there was a right time and a wrong time to do something, and that would have been the wrong time for me. But we have to stop this fear going into fear over people in the collective and fear over people in our lives. Because actually, just when you spend some time with someone and take down your boundaries and allow their soul to step forward and allow their light to step forward rather than the shadow, there's so much to learn. So, what did you learn from your life as Mohammed Al Fayed? What big main thing did you learn that you'd like to share with those watching? What did you learn? Wow. Heart chakra. Queen of Hearts as well, the heart chakra, the importance of the heart. That when you work from the heart, love from the heart, bring up children from the heart, live from the heart, the world changes. And he learnt that by being who he was in that lifetime. He had to go through that. It's almost like the lifetime of Muhammad he had to go through it to remember this stuff. Delight, the frequency of delight supports our capacity to create and experience feelings of intense joy and happiness. The more delight we feel, the more delight we evoke in others. So, as your lifetime with Muhammad, simplicity, and he's saying that money isn't everything. Saying the higher it goes, the heavier it goes, the darker it goes. You know, people want, if I only win £1 million, but you get 1 million, you'll want 2 million. You'll get 2 million, you'll want 3 million. You'll get 3 million, you'll want 4 million. He said, when you can actually be happy with what you've got, it's fine. You can have more, but when we're on the chase, I want a 4 bedroomed house, but I want a 5 bedroomed house. I need a 6 bedroomed house, a 7 bedroomed house. I want one store, I want 2 stores, 3 stores. Yeah, stores as in big department stores like Harrods. He says all the people involved in that incarnation are just craving peace and simplicity. Dodie was the same in his, if you remember. He was going to be a farmer and just work on the land and live with the land. And didn't he say as well in that channeling that he wasn't even going to go and have a relationship? He was just going to be a farmer on his own. He's saying you are all the richest people in the world. He said people look at the rich and the famous as the rich and famous. He said, but they're actually the poorest people on the planet. The real rich are humans, normal, everyday human beings that can embrace the light, that can embrace joy, that can embrace love. Final card for this reading. Let's take an archetypes. Final card for this reading. Final card for this reading. The mountain. The pilgrim. The mountain. And the pilgrim. So, what do we say about these? The mountains that we feel that we have to climb or that we have to climb? To be out there in the natural world. That life is a pilgrim. That there is much to learn from life. There is much to learn from the mountains that we are expected to climb. There is much to learn from the shadow. He's showing me after Dodie died, and he's saying, you know, if only I'd have got into my heart, I would have been able to handle the grief better. But because I went into ego, it just spiraled. If I'd have looked after myself properly and nurtured myself. He's also saying as well, one of the best things you can do is to admit your role in your downfall, admitting your role in the arguments and the things that happen to us, to actually go and be honest with yourself. When you're honest with yourself and go, you know what, I saw that coming, but I ignored it because I wanted to be loved. You know what, I shouldn't have pushed him because by pushing him, I've killed him. The minute that you do that, it actually takes away that vengefulness, that anger, and that's how you release yourself from it. Um, Anything else to say and go forward with love? So we'll close down this session. He's going back into the pyramid. It's almost like he's using the pyramid as a spaceship to go back up. So cleansing the area. Thanking Mohamed for stepping forward, thanking those that stood around and held space for us to have this moment. Clearing any energies, dense energies that we struggle to process. Let's clear some. Whoops. You might not be able to hear that with the mic, but it's just energy anyway. Go drink some water, have a breather, have a decompress, ground, and release into the ground anything you can't process from that session, anything that you still feel you haven't got answers to, any triggers, release them into the ground. So feet firmly on the ground and just release it. If you're still, I mean, people say, I want to know what happens to Diana, I want to know what happens to Diana. It doesn't matter. Just release it into the ground. It's holding you back, wanting to know what happened to Diana. It's holding you back. Thank you for watching. Please do. I'm a bit sleepy now. Thank you for watching. Please do like, comment, share, and subscribe. If you enjoyed this video and you would like to watch more of these channelings, go to my playlist, Channelings. Famous People, I think it's called. And there's a whole range there. I'm going to try and aim to do one channeling a month on this channel. So one channel a month, I think, is quite sufficient. Um, Thank you for watching, and please do like, comment, share, and please do like, comment, share, and subscribe. And I will see you in the next one. Bye. Anyway, God, and it's weird because I'm not actually tired. I'm not actually tired at all. Anyway, I'll see you in the next. Why am I keep closing my eyes? I'll see you in the next one. Bye.